Let me say this clearly because someone needs to hear this without it being watered down. Struggle is not shame. Struggle is not proof that you're failing. Struggle is not proof you're behind. Struggle is not proof that you're not built for this. Struggle is usually proof of one thing, that you are in a growth season. And I'm talking to the person who's been quietly embarrassed about what they're going through right now. I'm also talking to the person who's trying to build something, but everything looks so messy right now. The person who's doing their absolute best, but it still feels slow. The person who keeps thinking, why is this so hard for me? Because I've noticed something, especially with immigrants, Black women, and people who had to be strong early in life. We don't just want to succeed. We want to succeed without anyone seeing the struggle. We want the glow up, but not the awkward stage that comes with it. We want the breakthrough, but not the beginner season. We want the results, but we don't want anyone watching us figure it out. Today, I want to break that because the truth is, if you are building anything real, anything that's going to last, struggle is part of the process. Not shame, not failure, not proof you should quit, just growth. So today I'm going to talk about struggle in two parts. Part one is the struggle that people do not post about, the kind that humbles you and tests your pride. And part two is the struggle that I am in right now in my actually journey that I'm proud of, my YouTube journey that is teaching me about confidence. And by the end, I'm going to give you a simple way to hold yourself through hard seasons without spiraling into shame. Because the goal isn't to pretend that you're never going to struggle. The goal is to stop letting struggle make you feel like you do not belong. So let's start with what this feels like emotionally. Because when people say struggle is not shame, it sounds very cute until you're in it. Because when you're in it, struggle feels like, I don't want anyone to know. I don't want people to look at me different. I don't want people to think I'm not doing well. I don't want to disappoint anybody. I'm supposed to be further than this in life. And if you're an immigrant, ooh, theirs is a special kind of pressure that comes with being the success story, the one who made it out. Because in your mind, you don't just come here to survive, you came here to win. And when you hit a hard season, it can feel like I'm losing. And if you're a Black woman, if you're a Black immigrant woman, there is another layer to that because you might already feel like you have to be twice as put together just to be treated normally. So when life gets hard, the struggle isn't just the struggle, it's the fear of being seen in the struggle. Because being seen in the struggle feels like you are completely exposed. And I am naming that because I don't want you thinking that discomfort is your intuition telling you to stop. Sometimes it's just your nervous system that's saying, this feels unsafe because I've been judged before, so I don't think I should go any further. That's real, but it doesn't mean that you're wrong. Here's what I've realized. The struggle itself is not always what breaks people. It is the story that they attach to the struggle. Because two people can go through this same hard season, but one person will say, well, I'm building. The other person would say, I'm failing. One person will say, I am in a learning season. The other person will say, something is definitely wrong with me. One person says, this is a temporary moment. The other person says, well, maybe this is who I am. And that second story, that's the one that will turn struggle into shame. Because shame is not just, I did something wrong. Shame is, I am something wrong. And that's dangerous because shame will make people isolate, shame makes people hide, shame makes people stop asking for help. Shame makes people quit before they even get to the breakthrough. And for a lot of us, especially immigrants, shame it gets tied to survival because we were raised to believe if you're struggling, it means that you're doing something wrong. If you're struggling, it means that you're not working hard enough. If you're struggling, you should be quiet about it. But here's the truth. Hard seasons, they don't mean that you're lazy. Hard seasons don't mean that you're not smart. Hard seasons don't mean that you're not favored. Hard seasons mean that you are human. And even the people you think are always good, they always have it put together, maybe they're just better at hiding it. But let me talk about the first kind of struggle. The kind that people they don't put on Instagram, the kind that you don't casually mention at brunch with your friends, the kind that it tend to mess with your pride. Because I've been there. There were seasons where I had to do what I had to do. And I remember one thing so clearly. It wasn't the work that bothered me. It was the voice in my head judging me while I worked. And that voice was like, look at you. Is this what your life is reduced to in America? Listen, people are going to say that you're struggling and you need to go back home. This is embarrassing. And I want to pause here and say something important. If you've ever had that voice, you're not weak. You're just hearing conditioning because a lot of us were taught that being respected means looking like you've never struggled a single day in your life. But life is not built like that. So for me, during one of those seasons, I had to work jobs that humbled me. And those jobs, they weren't glamorous. They were jobs that weren't part of the dream. And I remember feeling mixed emotions, gratitude, because in a way, I was happy to be making money, and shame because this wasn't what I expected that I would be doing. It wasn't what I pictured. And you know what changed everything for me? It wasn't money overnight. It wasn't anything like that. It was one mindset shift. I stopped treating the hard season like it was some kind of verdict. I started treating it like it was a bridge, a bridge to stability, a bridge to debt freedom, a bridge to saving some money, a bridge to peace. Because sometimes the dream season is not available to you until you build a foundation, and nobody tells you that part. So I started doing something different. Instead of letting embarrassment make me collapse or isolate, I started putting my blinders on, meaning I stopped watching what other people were doing. I stopped comparing myself to them. I stopped comparing timelines in our lives. I stopped needing my season to look extremely impressive. And I focused on one thing, getting through it wisely, not emotionally, wisely. And I started making decisions like, okay, what is the next best step for me? What do I need to stabilize right now? How do I protect my future self? And that's where the shame started to lose its power because shame thrives in vagueness. But once you get very specific, once you get strategic, and once you get laser focused, shame has less room to talk, less room to interrupt you because now you're busy. You're busy building. You're busy stacking. You're busy stabilizing. You're busy surviving with intention. And here's what I learned. Hard seasons will either make you bitter or they will make you disciplined. I chose discipline because discipline, it is what will get you out. There was also a moment where somebody close to me gave me advice that I never forgot. And this person, I'm going to tell her Ruby. That's actually her real name. She's amazing, an amazing bodybuilder. Ruby said something that snapped me out of my shame. She basically reminded me, don't let your situation make you forget who you are. And that hit me because when you feel like you're struggling, it will do that to you. Struggle will make you forget your own track record. It will make you forget your skills. It will make you forget that you are resilient. And it will make you feel like, oh, you know what? This is me now. My friend Ruby was like, this is a chapter, not your identity. And after that, my mindset shifted. Instead of being embarrassed that I was working hard, I became grateful that I still had the ability to work. And I know some people don't want to hear that because it sounds like some kind of toxic positivity thing, but it wasn't that at all. For me, it was survival gratitude. It was, okay, I'm not powerless. And then I made it practical. I used that season to pay off debts. I used that season to build up some savings. I used that season to create a buffer and rebuild my confidence. And let me tell you something. The confidence that you get from saving money in hard season, it hits different because it is not confidence from applause. It's confidence from proof. Proof that you can carry yourself through difficulty. Proof that you don't fall apart. Proof that you can rebuild. And that is real confidence. And that's why I'm saying struggle isn't shame, because in a way, struggle is training. It's all about perspective. All right, now let me switch to part two. Because right now, my struggle looks very different. It is not survival struggle anymore. It is a growth struggle. And it's my YouTube journey. And what shocked me is how similar it feels emotionally, because when your life is okay, starting something new can trigger the same kind of shame. Not because you're failing, no, but because you're visible, because you're being a beginner in public, and that will humble you. I started YouTube because going into 2026, I wanted more visibility and more authority in my field. I wanted to stop hiding my expertise. I wanted to stop building quietly. And I chose YouTube because YouTube is the most consistent platform for creator compensation and long-term visibility. I love that about YouTube. But the hardest part wasn't uploading the videos. The hardest part was letting myself look like a beginner, because I'm a perfectionist, and perfectionists, they love preparing. Perfectionists love planning, but perfectionists struggle with one thing: hit publish. Because publishing forces you to accept, this is what I can do today. And that feels extremely uncomfortable. So at first, my brain tried to shame me again, like, Webley, your setup isn't perfect. You don't look polished enough. Your lighting isn't right. You should wait until everything is perfect. But then I remembered something. If I keep waiting, I'm going to keep getting the same results. So I just made a decision. I would rather be a beginner with progress than a perfectionist with nothing. And that is when struggle became confidence, because every day I posted a new video, I was proving to myself that I can show up imperfectly. I can be seen. I can grow in public. And that is a different kind of power. So here's my mindset shift, and this is the heart of the video. Struggle is not shame. Struggle is evidence that you are doing something that requires growth. If you're struggling in business, it might mean that you're learning systems. If you're struggling financially, it might mean that you're learning discipline. If you're struggling emotionally, it might mean that you're learning boundaries. If you're struggling as a beginner, it might mean that you're building skill. And I want to say this to immigrants specifically. A lot of us are already resilient, but we still judge ourselves for being human. We'll survive a whole crisis and then shame ourselves for crying. We'll work overtime and then we shame ourselves for feeling tired. We'll carry an entire family and then shame ourselves for needing support. That is not strength. That's self abandonment. Real strength, it is I'm struggling and I'm still moving. I'm struggling and I'm still learning. I'm struggling and I'm still showing up. That's power. Now, let me give you a simple framework, something that's not complicated, it's not fancy, and something that you can actually use. I'll call it the struggle is not shame playbook. Number one, I always start with naming the season. Say it loud. This is a hard season, not my life is reduced to this or this is who I am now. It's just a season. Number two, separate facts from feelings. Fact is money is tight. Feeling is I'm embarrassed. Fact is I'm a beginner. Feeling is I feel exposed. Feelings are real, but they are not always accurate. The next thing you want to do, you want to choose one action that makes you feel less powerless. Because sometimes we're thinking about our situation that we don't take any action. Apply for just one job. Post the video anyways. Pay one bill. Start one savings transfer. Record one video tutorial, one module, one action, one step. That's it. You will feel less powerless. And then I want you to put your blinders on. Stop watching people who are in a different season than you because comparison multiplies shame, but focus multiplies progress. And then you want to turn your shame into gratitude, and you want to do this on purpose. Not fake gratitude, real gratitude. Like, thank God I can still try. Thank God I have options. Thank God I'm learning. Thank God this situation is not permanent because gratitude, it doesn't erase the struggle, but it just keeps the struggle from becoming your identity. So if you're watching this and you're feeling that you're in a hard season, let me talk to you directly. You're not behind. You are not broken. You are not a failure. You are simply in a season. And seasons, they change. The only thing that I don't want you to do is this. Don't let shame convince you to stop. Don't let embarrassment convince you to hide. Don't let struggle make you forget who you really are. Because struggle is not shame. Struggle is growth. Struggle is training. Struggle is proof you're still in motion. And I want to close with a question, of course. What is one area of your life where you've been calling it shame, but it's really just struggle? It's growth. So drop your answer in the comments. And even if you don't tell me the whole story, just name it. Because naming it is the first step to releasing it and turn it into something that will propel you. All right, that was day 50. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Webley. I am on this consistency journey to show on YouTube every day for 100 days. I've officially reached my half point mark. Oh, what an incredible journey. What an incredible journey. If you want a glimpse of what this journey has been for me, just go back and watch my first video. And my first video was Who Silenced Her? I will attach it. I will attach it in the description. And I like it. I like it. I love the transformation. I love how I've been challenging myself to keep showing up for myself. And I also love the fact that I'm showing up as a beginner because I am a visual learner myself. And what better way to convince someone than to do it yourself, to go through the motion yourself, for them to watch, to be inspired. And whenever you feel like, hey, you feel ashamed because you're struggling, you feel ashamed because there's this resistance of doing something new and your instinct want to go back to safety, you can watch my videos and say, you know what, let me just keep going. So I will see you tomorrow for day 51.